Hi, Brady. It's Jeff. I'm doing a series of videos here on the concept of quality. I'm sorry, got a Pittsburgh Pirates T-shirt on. So I'm doing some. Yeah, I lived in Pittsburgh for a couple of years. I'm not like it's Pittsburgh the only thing. Um, the I want to go. I'm going to go through and make. I'm probably going to make a series of these videos because it's going to go too long if I do one single video, and there are pieces to this, and I want to do this in a kind of a series that I want people to watch it, but I want them to be able to think about it in chunks, and then they can actually kind of begin to rethink and reconsider the concept of quality in the language industry, um, both respect to human quality and then system quality, and the system quality being translation systems, or it can be voice systems as well, vocal systems. What do you want to call these things? Okay, um, so speech to text, text to speech, text to text. Okay, and then with respect to um, human quality standards for evaluating criteria for estimating the quality of what the content is, right, from authoring or translation. Right. So I'm kind of doing this intro video, kind of set the scene here, and I'm gonna point to a few different things. I'm gonna tell you other videos I've done, other recordings I've done before, because this is really something that I've done a lot of blogging about, and I've done a few conference talks about it. But I've been really rethinking this whole thing um, for a number of years as I kind of um, look back and see how I do it better. Okay, I always think about how I can do it better, and I'm constantly thinking about this. So this will be a series of things. This is not hard and fast rules. I do not want to say that this is the way you have to do it. I'm just saying this is how I would do it, or how to rethink this, or how to do it. And I've done a lot of I've been working on a lot of different systems. So I'm not going to um, I've worked in translation services, yes, for translation text, and for interpretation, yes, as a human doing it. Um, in different contexts, and yeah, so I've done both, volunteer and paid, right, and sold the systems and sold the services and evaluated them and did auditing of it too, right, and uh, and done production in localization and translation as well, and have worked on all kinds of different translation systems. Okay, lots of different brands, lots of different types, rules and example and statistical and some neural and hybrid and knowledge based. Yeah, I've done all of them. So and have worked in speech to speech, combat to combine with statistical and example, speech to speech, bidirectional. Okay, um, and and this whole thing of testing. And I've worked in the machine translation post editing. I know this. Like I come up with kind of machine translation post editing kind of methods that come up, and people say, "How do you do that? How are you so fast?" That's because I haven't always worked in the language industry, right? So I've done other things. So I have different approaches to how to do this, which like boost the productivity to a certain point. People say this is not possible. This is not humanly possible. You can do this. I said, yes, it is. You just haven't done it this way. So that's why I think I want to do the series of things to explain how I've always integrated testing into my approach of doing things, right? So that's why it works so fast. That's why I do integrated testing while I'm doing the production. So this is why it's so fast. Um, and so I want to explain in this kind of series of videos how I view quality and how I don't view quality, and how my view is different, and how that's allowed me to actually build faster systems with the corresponding quality, but I don't over-engineer. Okay, I think a lot of people over-engineer the quality. They over-engineer the quality to a point where it's not corresponding things anymore, and then you end up boiling the ocean. We call it boiling the ocean. You want to boil. You want to heat up the entire ocean, right? You can't boil the ocean. You got to boil little teeny pools, right? But you can't boil it at one time. In French, they call it, we're going to turn this to a gas factory, right? Just that's what we call it. There are other, I'm sure, I'm a language have other images of this, right? So, the so I'm going to kind of I'm gonna walk through. I'm kind of setting setting this context up, and then we'll have different videos, different ones, and I'll have separate videos. There are a couple videos that you want to watch, and I'll tell you what I've already done before, and I'm going to tell you what you want to watch first. I'm going to put these in segments as we're going through, and then put them in. You don't need to watch the entire thing of some of these, but yeah, it doesn't hurt to actually watch, part of them. Because sometimes I brought up quality in a certain context in a certain video, right, at a certain point in time. So I'm going to mention these. So the one of the first videos I'd suggest you look at is, and I'm talking here about language industry topic, language industry tools and applications to replicate quality for human translation. Okay, I'm going to set the scene of exactly what I'm doing in this series right here, which is kind of, sorry about the background noise, but I get people at my restaurant in there. So but so I'm going to kind of explain how I do this, right? So how I would do it, because it's a little bit different than it's actually really different from most people are going to do it, right? So this is my approach to it. And I'm going to say here that set the quality of the couple things that you want to look at before we go and do the other one. So what I want you to go look at is my University of Gdansk talk. I actually had to do this talk in 25 minutes rather than 45 minutes. So that's how fast I had to speak. I had to speed up my talk twice as fast, right? So that meant it was really fast. Their fault of not managing the time, all the talks before mine. Before that session, it was right before lunch, and everybody was kind of hungry for going to lunch, and the caterer was there, and I want to keep everybody in that room for the 25 minutes. Okay, I want to keep in the room, so I had to do it really fast, which I'm sure that the interpreters that were interpreting for me were not very happy, because it was really hard to do, because I was speaking twice as fast as I would normally speak, right? So so I have two versions of this. I have the version where if you want just the I redid it, but I only talked about the 10 points, my 10 commandments, or I call them the 10 commandments, kind of as a joke, right? But I mean 10 value points, 10 key points. I made a redid that, and I'll put that in the video list here. And I want you to watch that. And one of the points in there was why my perspective on quality. And my perspective on quality is don't talk about quality. Everyone talks about quality, and especially in the language industry, everybody says they did great quality, to the point where it's like everyone says it, so it has no meaning anymore. No meaning if everyone says they give high quality, because you don't know what high quality is anymore, right? If everyone's LinkedIn headliner and everybody's Twitter profile and everybody's Facebook profile all say that they do high quality, then what's high quality, right? Because not everybody can do high quality, because you have to have different flavors of high quality, right? So I did that video, but that was actually kind of a remake of just of the, and probably about 10 minutes. I can't remember how long it was, 10, 15 minutes, with a shorter, kind of slower version, a short listening version of the. I made it so you could actually watch the YouTube, it's on YouTube, and you can watch the subtitles and actually translate subtitles, and it's a little bit slower, so it's easier to understand in other languages too, with the written subtitles. And then that's actually the remake with a little bit slightly added stuff from my University of Gdansk talk in October of 2014, October 2014, where I talked about. It was called Demystifying Machine Translation, but it wasn't about machine translation. That's just, they wanted something to come talk about machine translation, but I wanted to talk about things that all the students in there would like, and I talked about how to be a successful translator, and then I gave my 10 commandments. Okay, and you'll see the joke about the 10 commandments in there. But that one point is don't talk about quality, just do it. And the key thing about reading that is because during that, I'm going to set the scene of why I said that. Is because during that conference talk, which is an invited talk, all of the people that talked to me before me, and actually the whole afternoon afterwards too, it was a one-day conference, but everyone in all the sessions before me that took the more time. Actually, there's one person that all she talked to was quality translation for the whole talk, right? And she's known for that. And I came in before the lunch break, and I kind of like I popped the balloon. Okay? Just poof, I popped the whole thing up. And it's like I said during I think it was number five, my value thing, don't talk about quality, just do it. Stop talking about quality. Stop talking about quality. Just do it. I said, it's not that I don't care about quality. And I'm a quality manager. Okay? I'm a quality expert. Okay, I'm a quality auditor, quality management auditor. I'm an ISO 9000 auditor, and I've got that's certified. And I've actually run the things for like in several companies, right? So and had to go through quality audits, quality processing audits. So this is kind of production and quality development, production. I mean, this kind of this like, and this is what you certified. If you don't get certified, you lose certification, and then you lose that possible potential business. And we get outstanding audits. Okay, so I know this topic really, really well. Um, and I've run software test teams too, so yeah, several companies. So this is not like unknown territory. But so I want you to watch those two videos because during that conference talk at University of Gdansk, the situation was before all the people talked about quality. So I kind of surprised them with this statement, which it seemed to contradict what actually was being said in their conference talks, but it wasn't. It was actually saying it from a different angle. I was giving a different angle, a different view of this than what they were talking about. But I was challenging them to stop just talking about it, but doing it, right? But I'm going to tell about how I do it differently in these other videos coming here. The fun thing about that conference talk was that we had lunch right after that, and then we had the round table, the panel sessions after. You know, people are citing my stuff saying, yeah, Jeff's talk made us actually kind of rethink what we think about quality. They started all talking about this thing. It was a very thought-provoking thing that in the afternoon we could tell that it really made people think about our industry and how we're so quality focused, too much quality focus. I said, don't over-engineer it. Do not over-engineer it. And I'm gonna go back and make sure, and I mentioned that. I actually cited, it was Kurt Godden. And I think I cited that in my remake of it. I cited Kurt Godden, that the over-engineering did not come from me. Kurt Godden, yes, you're the one that said it first. So I'm citing him. I'm doing good reference here. So I'm citing other people, not taking the credit for myself on this, right? So watch those videos first. Then I've did a video that I did for Damon Scattergood of Star Transit, in which I kind of gave a quick answer to LinkedIn, and I've given kind of the beginning of my thoughts about this. And now as I'm rethinking this, and that was just a few days ago. Now I'm rethinking this, and I'm kind of setting the seed. I'm doing this video to kind of introduce this whole. We're going to talk about this thing, and actually I'm going to put this video at the very top, and then I'm pointing these other videos as we go down here. And then I'm making a new series of videos right after this about the topic, right? And how I redo and rethink through. So I'm going to mention some like threads on LinkedIn and stuff, because they're actually linked list up on my profile on Praz.com. I think I've got the actual downloadable documents that I actually got there, that I actually cited there, because they were because you don't have to go look up the LinkedIn profile thing. Identify group, you just go get the document where I actually grouped all together and put all the things there, and you can follow what I said at that point in time back in 2010, right? So there were several threads about quality there. So I actually should look up, and I'll double check to see if it's still my LinkedIn profile or my Praz.com profile, right? Or my Translator's Cafe profile, because it's all about quality, translation quality, right? Which is a very, very mystical topic. Okay, yeah, I'll say it mystical because it's so fuzzy, and language is fuzzy, right? But I've worked in data, like in business intelligence, and a lot of financial applications where you can't be fuzzy, right? In telecom, you cannot be fuzzy. You can't be fuzzy. So I've learned how to kind of remove the fuzziness of disambiguation. I've learned to disambiguate things and to make things a little more easier to understand, right? and actually easier to comprehend, and actually to make it so that it's less fuzzy and a lot more that we have objective ways to measure things. Okay, because language is a very difficult thing to measure. And as a linguist, I understand this. I'm going to have a few other videos I'm going to talk about. Um, I'm going to talk about the aspects of prototype semantics and how you deal with this. I'm going to apply this to several different areas of linguistics, because how this applies to language and linguistics and language technologies. So I'm going to apply that too. So I got a couple videos on one or two videos on that, and then and I got the videos about measurements of quality. The videos don't exist yet. I'm going to make them. I'm just making I'm telling you what the videos are going to come. I'm going to do these. Um, but this will help us begin to remeasure or refigure and reestablish what is quality. How do we measure in the language industry? How it is in the current and the past, like 1,000 years. Okay, um, how we've seen quality in the past and how we're trying to replicate that, or how we're trying to reflect that, not replicate it. I want to be really careful here in talking about replicating here, because I don't think we should replicate it. I do not think we should replicate and try to do what we do with tools, with automated tools. We're not trying to replicate the quality that we get in human translation, because that is not possible. Because it doesn't, it's not possible to do that. So we'll talk about this. I'm going to say a few more things. I don't want to say everything in this video. I want to kind of give you an idea what it is. I'm going to get into these different topics and do each of these a little bit. So these videos will kind of be different lengths, depending on how long the topic is, right? Because I don't want to do like an hour per video. People won't watch these. I want to do this so we have small enough chunks that people can watch it for a while and then have enough to think about, so they can kind of go to the next one and then think about it and comment on them. And this, I think this is going to work for people to be able to kind of reflect and go through this whole what is quality and reflecting quality and all that. Okay, so there's that. And then I think another video to watch, which is really important, is I made a video called "What is Language," which is again another fuzzy thing. And I highly recommend that you watch that video, "What is Language?" or "What is a Language?" Because I kind of break it down into different points of view. I turn into a linguistics point of view, a dialectology point of view, a computational point of view, a person on the street point of view, a different kind of language defenders points of view. I kind of give different factors, because this is really important to understand the user, or what the perspective is, before you begin to talk about quality of it, right? Because if you're trying to talk about quality of the entire world of 8 billion people on 7,000 languages, then it's so big. Again, we're going to boil the ocean on that. So that's not possible. You have to break it down to certain target groups and what's the audience and what's the purpose. Okay. Again, purpose. I'm going to make another recommendation to watch here. I should actually be taking notes of doing this thing, because it's all off the top of my head, right? I have a video on inbound translation versus outbound translation, or inward translation versus outward translation. I talk about the different purposes of translation. That's really important to set the scene, because it's all about purpose. It's not about just going and doing a translation, right? You do it in a context. Translation always happens in the context, whether it be interpretation, whether it be written translation, whether it be even going to Google and just looking up a few sentences or one sentence or a word. It's all about context. The reason that you're doing, the purpose that you're doing that search, right? Or that request for translation or whatever. And the purpose you're doing the translation. And that translation can be voice, it can be speech, it can be text, it can be whatever. It can be lookup. The purpose determines the result and the end result, and that's really key. If you don't know your purpose, then don't do it, because you're going to mess up, right? And I'll point to another, not a video, but just point to another article that I wrote in 2000 ago. It was in the issue of the Getting Started with Machine Translation issue of Multilingual Magazine in probably 2004, 2006. This is my list of articles and stuff. It was the intro issue to that. I made another thing on the article in there on a different site and different topic. the intro article I talked about the cases where in language entry we screwed up on machine translation, and it was because we changed the purpose without doing that. There's another video. Maybe I did a video on it. I did another video, a video about when you change the purpose, when you change the translation without changing the purpose of it. So I got another video. I've actually done a video on this too. I thought I hadn't done it, but I've done a video on that too. So I'm gonna have a few videos to kind of like point to and add to the list here in a specific order, because I want people to watch this in a specific order to get this right, to understand this in a certain kind of certain approach, because this brings us to where, how do we do it, how do we measure this afterwards, right? So there's those, but that was piggybacks off the article I wrote in that getting, and then that's all these articles are like you can access them too, right? But I tried to make the videos so you don't have to go access the video, right, or the article. I group articles together by certain things. There was the other one probably too about uh, uh, the whole thing of measuring the specific video about I did, or the video, no, the article I wrote also in that as a getting started guide, where I said that how do you how it's when we're talking about of how do I call this thing? I don't have the name of the thing here. It's called I think a document management versus speed, translation speed. Translations, it was called translation speed versus document management or something about that. And I had a whole article. I don't think I actually did one. I should actually do a video on that one and explain that. In fact, I'll do a video and explain that thing too, because that's like that's worth talking about, and explain that article and how it was done and the purpose of that, and why it's really important for quality, right? Um, yeah, I got a bunch of others. I'll put this in the playlist. There'll be more as I go. I can't think of all the different ones I've got right now, because they're going to come up as we go. This is very agile. It's going to happen. I'm going to make these and create these. It's going to evolve, and I'm going to put them in a certain list as we go, playlist. But this will be playlists will be made so you can actually watch all this, and this applies to anybody. So it doesn't have to be any specific company or institution or whatever. This applies to so many different contexts that just, yeah, it's going to apply to everybody. So if you can find it that doesn't apply, I'd like to know, right? That's what I want to know, when it does not apply. But it should apply to so many contexts that just, yeah, it'll make sense to you. And I bring a lot of different software approaches and lots of different contexts into this as we go along. So I hope this gets you interested and want to watch this video series. And I really think I would not be doing this if I did not think this is really important. Okay, so let's go. Let's get to this video list here.